what a time to be an Aston Villa fan. And happy Easter to everybody. It is Good Friday, but every day feels like a good day to be an Aston Villa fan right now. And it's been a long time since we were able to say exactly that. Professor Unai Emery, the professor. Am I in love with Professor Unai Emery? Well, I want to get his face tattooed onto my face. So just maybe around here somewhere, just Professor Unai there. I want to write him poetry all the time. I want to make a movie about his life. I want to build a statue to him. In fact, I want to make an altar to him right here. Yes, that is currently where I am on what Professor Unai Emery has done at Aston Villa since he took over in October. It is extraordinary. And the amount of things that he has turned around, right? We hadn't beaten Manchester United at Villa Park since 1995. The first game he takes charge of, we end that hoodoo. And I feel like that has been the marker for the rest of his reign, essentially. I mean, you can look at it and think, what other hoodoos do we have? Man City, they seem to be one that we have. We weren't able to get a result against them. Fine. West Ham, we kept losing to. We ended that. Any others? There's quite a lot, aren't there? It's just hard to think of at the top of my head. But it just feels like, I don't know, something unique is happening with Unai Emery in charge. 10 wins in 16 Premier League games. 10 wins in 16 Premier League games. The form we're in, only City and Arsenal are better than us. It's just extraordinary, really. Even stuff like, when we played Leicester the other day and we went down to 10 men, or Leicester went down to 10 men, and you couldn't help but think in your head, like, as a Villa fan, like, well, Villa have been in this situation quite a lot in recent years, particularly when Grealish was around. A lot of players would get sent off against Villa. But it just felt like Villa were going to score. Somehow, some way, Villa would actually create chances. Because in previous years, all they would do is just pass it around the area, nothing would happen, and then we get to the final whistle, we're like, well, why didn't we pick up 3 points in that game? Instead, we just got the job done through an incredible finish from Bertie Traore. And, earlier this week, I went to Stamford Bridge. I went to the Chelsea game away. Villa won 2-0. And there was just something about the vibe right from the beginning of the game. So I was in the concourse before the game, obviously crowded full of Villa fans, but the noise was just, the excitement was so infectious. And then after that, when you go up into the stand and the noise level continued, and not just from pre-game, but all the way to after the game, even when Chelsea were putting Villa under pressure, it never went silent. It never went quiet. It was just a constant sense of, no, we're going to do something here. We're going to get something going. So it just felt like the fans had bought into whatever it is that Emery is building. It feels like we've bought into the players, the approach, the manager. The fans are excited. There's a clear plan on the pitch, in sharp contrast to the previous manager. The players look motivated and excited, as you can see from Ollie Watkins, who cannot stop scoring at the moment. Tyrone Mings, who looks like maybe right now, maybe the best defender in the league. I said it. He looks incredible. He's incredible. If he's not in the team, Villa just aren't the same. It's as simple as that. Because we lack his leadership quality. But it's not just that kind of leadership quality. It's just general defensive play. He's just been an absolute rock-solid player this calendar year, I would say. And not just that, but the way he progresses forward is the same thing. I think that's why Villa, just on the old eye test, look more progressive down the left-hand side of the pitch, because he, and Moreno, in fairness, as well, Moreno loves to push forward and is very good at it. But Tyrone Mings is very good at just driving forward, and sometimes beats that press, and we get the ball into Ramsey, who comes deep, or Watkins, who comes deep. Then there's a triangle to Moreno. So a lot of it starts, or feels like it starts, with Tyrone Mings, who's very good on the ball. It's underrated. We kind of got used to the fact that he would just belt the ball forward because that's kind of what we were coached to do. If the other opposition would put us under pressure, we were like, well, there's no out ball now, so let's just boot it forward and hope for the best. Now it feels like we're patient, we hold on to it, and Tyrone Mings is very good at just finding Douglas Luiz, Moreno, or if there's no option there, do you know what? I'm going to turn back and just pass it to Emi Martinez and start again, because why not? So the excitement of Chelsea was just something else. And then the Villa fans I was with this week, just again, it's just a vibe, a really positive vibe I haven't felt since the winning run in the Championship in the season we got promoted. But even then, there was always in the back of your mind, this is the Championship. I couldn't help but feel always that Villa shouldn't be there. So it's a really positive time to be a Villa fan. And yes, there will be difficult patches ahead. Eventually, we're going to get done by someone. We'll lose 3-0 somewhere, somehow. And, but the fact of the matter is every team has a setback. It's how you come back from those setbacks that makes a difference. And look, under Emery, we lost 3 in a row. We had a really brutal loss to Arsenal where we could have won the game. They won with that late Jorginho attempt that then hit Martinez and then that fourth goal, whatever. But, how did Villa react to that? Well, they came back and they've gone on this incredible winning run. And you just feel like every single game at the moment, Villa are, if they're not going to win, they're at least going to put in a real good effort and they're going to have a plan that's going to hurt the opposition. So at this moment in time, I would say this is the most excited I've been about an Aston Villa manager in forever. And Ollie Watkins now, new contract talk, as reported by Tom Colomos in the Mail. Well deserved, absolutely. And I think it says a lot about what Unai Emery how much Emery clearly values Ollie Watkins, and that he's grown into a talismanic player for Villa. The Danny Ings sale has really worked. I supported it at the time. I think there was a lot of fears if Watkins got injured, we'd be short on numbers up front, which, yes, it was a gamble because if Watkins had got injured, we could have been in a bit of trouble. But ultimately it said, Watkins, you're the main man. You are the man. And look at how he's reacted to it. Everything about his play now, his all-round play, his hold-up play, his strength, his confidence, link-up play. It's always been there, but it's been inconsistent. Now it's there and the goals are there and he just looks like a player who should be playing for England, quite frankly. He's excellent. Been really, really good. And it's just so good to see. And then the Leicester game as well. He gets another great goal. Bertie Traore packed off to Turkey on loan by Steven Gerrard. And look at that, comes back and does the job. And it just feels like Emery gives every player a chance. He doesn't ostracize people. It's a very positive environment, and you can see the players have bought into it and are enjoying it. John McGinn as well. His performance against Chelsea and against Leicester, when he had to slip into the Boubacar Kamara role, supremely good. There have been occasions before where he's looked quite good in that role, but there's been a lot of occasions where he's, particularly earlier this season, where he was struggling, and maybe there were various factors, the captaincy, the coaching, whatever. But now, when he's in that role, he's just looking so strong. He gets into a tight spot and you feel he's going to get away from the opposition. So, yeah, really, really positive. Just a great time to be a Villa fan, and the fact that it's been done so quietly, you just feel the pundits look around going, "What, Villa? What? Where are they? 15th? 14th? 7th? What? Am I reading the table upside down, am I? What, Villa? That high? Oh, it must be a fluke. It must be a fluke." Yes, Chelsea and Liverpool are having off seasons. Tottenham are having an off season, I would say, even though they are top 4 somehow. But the fact of the matter is, Villa should take advantage of that. And yes, those clubs will most likely be better next season, and they have the financial firepower to come back. But who's to say Villa can't continue to compete there? Why not? We have the financial firepower to compete, and we have a manager who has the capability to compete with their approach as well. So, yeah, it's a very fun time to be a Villa fan. And Nottingham Forest next this weekend. I I'm looking forward to it. Again, you just go into all these games with real confidence. I think at the early stage of Emery's reign, I mean, we looked more comfortable away from home than we did at home. Quite a few games at the start against Wolves, Liverpool, Leeds. In the first half of all those games, we were giving away a lot of chances. It feels like we've rectified that somewhat. You know, against Bournemouth, we were well on top the whole time. Palace, I think we were kind of well on top as well. And then now Nottingham Forest, another team that just away from home can't get the job done. I don't think they've won away all season. You know, you look at their most recent results. If I go, so they lost 2-1 at Leeds. Most recently, lost 2-1 away at Leeds on Tuesday night. Drew at home against Wolves, lost to Newcastle, lost away at Tottenham, drew with Everton, lost away at West Ham 4-0. You know, you're losing 4-0 at West Ham, it ain't a great sign, is it? So their most recent away form is lose 4-0 at West Ham, 3-1 at Tottenham, 2-1 at Leeds. Aston Villa have to go into this game believing that if we're at it, surely we can just control the game, really, keep them at bay and just get the goal when the chance comes. Tactically, you know, against Leeds United, they went with Leeds played a 4-2-3-1. Forest themselves went with a 4-3-2-1. Morgan Gibbs White played up front, and Brennan Johnson was out right, and Emmanuel Dennis on the left. Now, Dennis likes to score against Villa, so you can't rule that out. You know that they're going to create some opportunities. Brennan Johnson's in really good form. He's a player that I even mentioned on Twitter earlier this week that I think if Forest was to go down and Villa were to look for somebody who could play on the right-hand side, who's Premier League ready, who has been growing as a player this season, he's looked really, really good. And I would say now, to me, from what I've seen of Forest, Brennan Johnson and Morgan Gibbs White look like they're two sort of talismanic players. So Brennan Johnson, you would say, down the right on Moreno. If Moreno gets forward and the ball gets over the top and Johnson manages to find a bit of space, they could create a few opportunities that way. But I just feel really confident with Villa, and I just feel like Mings and Konsa will be able to handle Gibbs White if he is their striker, or Emmanuel Dennis if he's the striker. I do really rate Gibbs White, and I do rate Johnson particularly, but I just don't know at the moment with Forest. It feels like there's a lot of pressure on the manager, Steve Cooper. Will he be sacked if they lose to Villa? I don't think they've won in 8 or so games, not since they won at the start of February. So it's not a great time to be Forest, but look, they're fighting for their lives. They want to stay up. We were there 2 years ago, or 3 years ago now, and we just about stayed up. So, maybe the run has to end at some point, this terrible away form they have, and maybe they target Villa as the place to go and do it. But just at this moment in time, I don't think if I was an opposition player, I particularly want to be playing Aston Villa. And so I'm going to predict that Villa do get the job done, and it ends up being a 2-0, maybe even 3-0. Forest fans might be watching this, and I really do hope Forest stay up, genuinely, because I just like seeing a team like that in the Premier League. I think the size of them, it's good to have another Midlands team in there as well. But it's going to be tough. I think the game I am looking ahead to, Newcastle, we have them after Forest at home. That is a game I'm going to be looking at a lot next week. I'm going to hopefully get a rivalries on as well. Fascinated by Newcastle. They just beat West Ham 5-1 away, beat Manchester United 2-0. Them, Villa and Newcastle, feels like two of the teams of the Premier League that are in the real ascendancy outside of Arsenal and Newcastle at the moment. So very interesting to see how that game goes. And I do think Alexander Isak is going to cause us quite a lot of problems. I think he's a player that we maybe are not used to playing against. So this could be a bit of a learning curve, that game, but we'll cover that more next week. Forest first. Let's get the win. Let's get the job done. Thank you, everybody, for watching this. I love meeting everybody who watches this channel, who listens to our podcast. Subscribe to us on Apple, Spotify, all those, because we do a lot of episodes that don't go on YouTube. They go out on the audio podcast. So check it out. And please, hey, give us some 5-star reviews if you like what we do. Maybe even write a review. I don't know. It just helps us, in the algorithm helps us get ahead. And with YouTube as well, please like and subscribe and all that. You know, all the interviews we do. There's just love making all this. And the more support we get, the more we can do it. So thank you very much, everybody. Up the Villa. And come on, the Villa boys from Aston, let's go and beat Forest.